Thank you very much, honorable members. We just do it one more time, please. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor say no. The aye supersedes. Therefore, this
Honorable
sitting will be
Speaker,
extended.
I
Yes, honorable member for Bakau constituency.
okay. Good afternoon to you all. I have a motion that I want to pass. That is, if before we can extend the certain sittings, but before we extend the sittings, we have seen that through the debate that is going on, it's either we are having the same speech or we are having speeches that are very connected. You would see that there are little differences between those that speak first and those that are speaking now. So I want to move a motion that if you have a similar speech, or you know that you are not going to bring in new something that we have not had, or something that we have not here, please desist from speaking, and we move to another item on the agenda. Thank you.
Honorable member, that might be a suggestion to the honorable members of the House, but it cannot be a motion. Thank you very much. Honorable member for Fonyi Brevet.
Yes, please, honorable members, you see, we have less than 3 minutes to decide on this because by around 3:30 we will not, because it says no later than half an hour. Looking at this, after this, we are having something very important to discuss. And then someone also wishes to push a motion the moment we are done with it, even if that one is not pushed. But with this one, we might not be able to discuss because prevalence of gender-based violence is something that which is seriously disturbing. And we are representing people, so we need to be able to have position paper which we can be able to push. So at least let's agree on this. So perhaps you can go on, we vote and then we see. Thank you.
No, I have already collected the ayes and the noes, and the ayes supersedes. And therefore, we are extending this session beyond our normal closing time. Thank you very much. May we now proceed and continue in the submissions from the honorable members. Honorable member for Opanyomi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor to give my submission on this important topic at hand, which is illicit drugs and substance abuse among the young people in the Gambia. Yeah, I would choose to be very laconic on my deliberation because I believe the point, what I wanted to bring my deliberation on most of the points the previous speakers has already discussed on that. We all understand drug is a problem, but drug abuse is a big problem in this country. But the question is, what are we doing as a country? Are we serious about this action issue? Because of time without number, we keep on advocating for, to stop drug abuse. But are we serious about this? The drug that is coming, it is coming all the way from Europe, America, and other countries, and it passed through our ports. And I believe our authorities are aware. No one would spend millions on drugs and you let them to come into the country without, any guarantee these drugs will not reach safely. So I believe the decision that we take save the future of this country. If we said as a country we keep on, advocating to stopping drug abuse, well, we are not very serious about it. This will not happen. This will never happen because of this problem cannot be addressed based on pronouncement. We need to be serious. We come up with policies because of most of the time it's the young people who involved in drug abuse. And these are the important people who could be very instrumental in our education sector, health sector, and agricultural sector. Because of there's adage that always say agriculture is the backbone of this country. But if our young people who are the able bodies are incarcerated, how do you expect us to develop agriculture in this country? If there is too much of crime rate, where the lives of the Gambians are not safe, because of if you go to certain places, your life is at risk, particularly the past 5 years. Time without number, we received the information, people were stabbed, people were killed, people were attacked. These perpetrators are people who are influenced by drought. So if we want Gambia to be a haven, safe for everybody, we need to be serious with what we're doing. Because I believe we have enough policies, but these policies are just how do I call it, toothless bulldog policies. They are not implemented. They are not, active. Even like this public smoking, that's a policy. But are people respecting it? No, they are not. Because of those who should implement the policy are not even themselves respecting the policy. You look at the executive as an organ of government responsible for the implementation of policies. You go to certain offices, you see people smoking in their offices. Are we serious with the policies that we promulgate? If we promulgate policies that we intend not to respect, do you think these policies are going to be pragmatic? Do you think these policies are going to be active? So what we need is attitudinal change. We need to change, and whatever we are advocating for, let us ready to achieve it. Because if we cannot be advocating only on lip services, no. We need to be ready for it, and we need to have the desire. Because if these problems are not addressed, the crime issue will never be addressed in this country. Because most of the people who are involved in crime are not doing it based on will, but through the influence of drug. So I am submitting to this honorable house, let us continue advocating, but let us be functional. Let us mean what we are going to do. Let us be active. Let us not be, making policies that we don't intend to, respect or implement. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member, for those submissions. May I now call on the Honorable Member for Fonyi Bondali.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. The question is, why are they using it? One is because of frustration inside the society. Two is because they lack the job. They lack the job in the society, and they will try to cool up themselves with cannabis. If you can see, in Gambia, I think, if you want to be a drug squad officer, you must be an athlete. Because you run after our boys like you are running after, rabbits. It doesn't mean that I am encouraging for the youth to smoke cannabis. But now the concentration is more on cannabis than alcohol. People are free to drink alcohol at any level. Any level. But you will not see any serviceman to arrest those people. But they are there arresting the younger people. Go to Mile 2 here. There are many there. Now, a young boy, 18 years, you arrest him and lock him, even if it is 2 weeks or even it's 2 years.
May I see your talk properly? Yes, Honorable Member for Fonyi Councillor.
I want to put Honorable Member on point of observation, Speaker, if you may wish.
Yes, you might proceed.
The topic of discussion is illicit, and illicit in the sense that these are substances that are banned. For the fact that he has mentioned alcohol, in our constitution, it is yet to. So therefore, let him correct himself on that.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member, for...
Observation, Madam Speaker.
Okay, let's have Honorable Member for Fonyi Jarrell first, then we will take Honorable Member for Fonyi Berefet, sorry.
I wish to bring my honorable colleague from Fonyi Council on track. That is point of order. The issue...
Honorable Speaker, do you want to say point of observation?
No, point of order. He deviated. That is why I'm bringing him on point of order. The issue here is illicit drugs.
Point of observation, Honorable Speaker.
Point of order is going. You want to observe me? I refuse. Speaker,
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
You don't have the authority to refuse. Yes, nominated.
No, I have authority to receive point of observation.
Okay,
It is my right.
Order. Honorable member from Fonyi Brufet, I don't know, it's Brufet or it's not allowed to.
Honorable member is Fonyi Berefet.
Fonyi Berefet, you are not allowed to raise a point on order on a speaker who is already on his or her seat.
Honorable Speaker for Fonyi Berefet, you might continue, please.
Yes, thank you. The issue here is illicit drug and substance abuse. Even paracetamol, when you abuse it, it is categorized here. So the alcohol that which Honorable Member for Fonyi Bondal is saying is something which is quite true. So he is on track. With your permission, he can continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Fonyi Berefet. Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Member for Fonyi Bondali, you might please
It
proceed.
doesn't mean that I am trying to undermine the service sector. But the thing is, when we are to identify issues that will help our nation for today and tomorrow, you have to identify all. If rule for one is rule for all, if you are to ban cannabis, you also have to ban alcohol, so that the younger generation are the people we should build a strong foundation for. If not, we will lose our culture. If not, we will lose our society. And if not, we will not develop this nation. Let's try, or let the government try and focus on this area and help us, we the younger people, so that we can be more focused. And the last part is, I think, parental advice. If you see your son is doing something bad, do advise him occasionally. Because if at all you said, peer influence, I've been, sitting with people telling me that, boy, try this. I said to them, I have a future to build, not a future to destroy. If you really know your health, can building your health, can support you. Even the religion itself tells you that, the life that you are living must be questioned on the day of judgment. So in questioning that life, no, I don't think nobody will want on the day of judgment, God asks you that, how did you do your life? So it is sad. Let's try and put laws that can put those things on track so that we will enjoy today and tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Fonyi Bondali. May we now have Honorable Member for Sabah Sanja.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am very glad to come again. We are talking to a very important issue, which is illicit drugs and substance abuse among youths in the Gambia. And I would love to give my submission, because we are here, we come from different areas. So I experienced some things in my constituency, you do the same thing. So we have different opinion. Okay, Madam Speaker, we all know that this is a very sensitive issue, and then it is believed we the youths are the hopes of this nation. So if our youths are being tampered with some of these illicit drugs that we are talking here, where are we? So I think in order to attain our goals and objectives, we must understand one another. And there are some points that I would want to raise. If you look at, social media is something that is contributing a lot with regards to the usage of these illicit drugs. I will tell you how. Sometimes if you are a social media influencer, you normally use the social media. Sometimes you see posts, pictures, images that doesn't look nice if you look at related to drugs. So if I am a young person, so if I see that, I may think that, hey, this is correct because it is already posted on social media. So social media is contributing a lot. I don't know what we can do to make sure that what we are posting on social media should be looked at before, because seeing is believing, and that's true. Honorable Madam Speaker, the influence of culture and society too is a factor to with regards to the illicit or the usage of drugs. And I will, clear myself. If you go to certain communities, especially where I come from, we have a community, we call it Jamaica. That community, they can use this marijuana. Marijuana is the common usage in my community. I have never seen cocaine. I have never seen other illicit drugs. But then if you come to that area, it is very, the accessibility of this marijuana is amazing. So just one box is $25. So if I am the medium of the dealer to the user, so maybe at some point I will say, hey, let me come and test this, whether it is look nice or whatsoever. As time goes on, I will have feeling, I will develop this feeling. So society, the society influence such youths to adventure into this. And then, Madam Speaker, if you look at what I just said right now, sometimes leaders should create productive leaders too. If I am a role model, and then people should emulate me to whatsoever I am, because if you are a leader, whatsoever you are doing, those who are behind you, your followers, will think that, of course, what he or she is doing is right. So let me try and emulate, because I already admired you. So curiosity too is a factor. Hey, Harama mostly. Sometimes we do say it, or we will be, at a certain stage where we call it adolescence. We thought that even if the sky is falling down, we can hold it, which is very wrong. But then I believe, I will quote from the Constitution of National Youth Parliament, Section 5. It says, number 2 says, promote understanding, unity, culture of peace and cooperation among youths of the Gambia. So I challenge these honorable members, my honorable parliamentarians. It is our objective. It is part of the objectives. So let's execute this objective as expected. So let's build this understanding among youths. Because today I don't want to see my family member or my brother is using these things or is gone mad or whatsoever through using these illicit drugs. So if we help one another, I think we will have a bright future. I think where we set our eyes, we will reach there without any difficulties. So my dear parliamentarians, so let's observe our objectives that is captured in this constitution. I think it is very important to understand one another. It is not our will. Sometimes you ask them, why you are taking these drugs? Why? They will tell you, I am frustrated because I have stress or whatsoever. And then, of course, because sometimes, when nature calls at certain things, you gone mad. So what you will do is, in order to come back and then to be part of the people, then I have to take it. I have to, use these drugs and then make myself calm or whatsoever. So I believe if we have the understanding, we not blame one another. Let's go and help. Today we have seen many youths out there who are very good, who can move the country to the next level. But then today they don't have the opportunity because they don't have people to talk to them. But then in our societies, there is something that is common. If someone is somehow mental disorder, having somehow a mental disorder, people will tend to run away from that person, which should not be done. Let's talk to that person. We interact with that youth. So at the end of the day, we will have a better Gambia. And then with this, I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. May I please urge Honorable Members, can we please be summarizing our submissions so that we will be able to also give chance to other Honorable Members to also have their submissions. I know it is not within my authority to say have 5 minutes or 2 minutes, but I want to urge all honorable members for the sake of time and our proceedings, having other things to discuss as part of the business of the House, to summarize our proceedings and communicate the most important points and move on. Yes, Honorable Member for Fonyi Brefet.
Yes, Honorable Speaker. So please.
Come again?
No, I'm saying diam ka wulindire. Ya on dobia ni wulda ka foni mol pel. Lafa ka memfo. Ya jera le soto. Nyata ko mo mbi ya Seattle. Lafa ka motion move that we move to the next business of the day. Then we'll discuss. A bit on the it maybe it might say most of the button to say most of the couple move to because like Honorable Alasan rightly said, even the Makalban Buljana, but Murmun Kanyola Kumolka. Say I'm put up Boru Bell. We move to the next area. We vote those that agree at that. Because not them Conco Dolal. Don't be a Conco teller. So I give you can. Thank you. So this is my motion.
I second your motion.
Honorable Speaker, Madam Speaker, point of order. Honorable Speaker, point of order.
Okay. Honorable Speaker for Combo South, you might comment.
Okay, thank you. Well, it's like my honorable parliamentarian for New Bedford seems to be inconsistent. This was the thing that we were all running from. Okay, but if we keep on distracting, though it's our constitutional right, but if we keep on distracting for minor things like correcting somebody on maybe past tense also, not necessarily that, but I think we have to understand that opportunity comes once. We have been representing National Youth Parliamentary for so many years, so this is an opportunity. And then issue coming next is very important, but we keep on correcting each other, though it's good, but let us also be very mindful of the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Like the Honorable Members have already submitted, it is not within my authority as the Speaker to end session, or sorry, to suspend those who have already written their names down. But I just want to urge this House, for those who have raised their cards and their names were recorded, if we know what we want to say is already said by our fellow honorable members, can we please forge ahead with the business of the House? Because we can all witness we have been repeating each other over and over again, and we have another motion to discuss on that will impact the lives of the young people. So I am just urging the members of the House, if that is something we can agree on, we move on. Yes, Honorable Nominated Member for Basse.
Honorable Speaker, I will urge before you move on to the next motion, you give me the time to give my submission on this topic.
Madam Speaker.
Honorable Nominated Member for Basse, are you sure that what you're coming to submit has not already been submitted? Okay, you might proceed before we come.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. When we talk about substance abuse or illicit drug and substance abuse, we focus more on sensitizing people who are already into it. And let me tell you, you can't meet a patient having asthma and you tell that person that you cannot drink your drugs when you have an asthma attack. Those that are already addicted to these drugs, it is very difficult for us to ask them to stop smoking or being addicted to this drug without providing them good reasons, or even without providing them things that they will be engaged in so that they will stop using these substances. Honorable Speaker, I have 3 points to make, which is the late sensitization. There are a lot of people sensitizing, advocating, but the people that we are meeting are not the right people that we should meet. At an early stage, we should be meeting people that you know that they are not engaged and they don't even start or they don't even think about going into these drug issues. Those are the people that we should meet at that early stage, talk to them like primary school going boys. As you are going to primary school, you see your brothers in senior school smoking in school, even with their school uniform. You'll also be thinking that when you reach in senior school, you have to be doing the same. We should not wait for them to go to that level before we go to them and be sensitizing them. Secondly, it's about the police. The police are putting more effort in arresting than sensitizing. which I am also urging the bodies that are responsible or the Minister of Health to collaborate with the security to sensitize the youths other than arresting them. Because when you arrest someone and carry that one to the cell, in 2 days or 3 days, you are releasing the person. But if at all you went to the community and sensitize those people on the effects of the drugs that they are using, you will build that friendship between you and the community that you are in. And thirdly is we have tobacco and alcohol selling tobacco control measures on which we have to put more effort. Those that are responsible should put more effort in put more effort to implement those laws that are already there. If you look at alcohol, there should be a time in which alcohol should be sold and the age bracket in which people that you should sell the alcohol to. But go to my constituency. Anytime that you go to the bars, people are there, young people that are those that we have hope on to be the leaders of tomorrow, to occupy the spaces tomorrow, are the ones that are there. What are they doing there? They are not engaged. Let's try and engage our young people. Going to Basse or URR in general, we have a lot of organizations and people who are there. They need support. People like our young artists that are in URR. Some of them have been in this music career for a very long time. And they are very good, they are promising musicians, but they can still get the support that they want from the people they are with or the government. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Member for Woolly West, you raise your tag.
Yes, it's some of what's observation, honestly. I think we all have a right to say something regarding this motion. And then if you looked at it yesterday, I nearly suffered, or I even suffered, the same thing. So I think the manner in which we have been chosen to give our deliberations on this motion is quite somehow left-handed than right-handed, because it always starts there, and then before it reaches here, patience is always derived from us. So I would want to suggest that you give me the opportunity. I have something to say regarding this motion. Thank you.
Okay, this is what we might do, because there are some honorable members suggesting that we resolve and move. There are some honorable members suggesting we stay on the topic and allow everybody to talk. So, honorable members, is that a point of order?
Point of observation.
Point of observation, Honorable member for Sabasanja.
Yeah, just to quote from section 30 of the Constitution of the National Youth Parliament, there shall be freedom of speech and debate in both the national and the regional youth parliament. So I believe what we are doing, that should be done. So let's allow everybody to talk. It's a right.
Point of
Remember,
observation.
but I think I stated clear, it
Point
is
of
not within
observation.
my authority to close the session. That is why it was suggested by fellow honorable members and not from the table of the speaker. Yes, honorable member for...
Yes, I rise on point of order simply because to allow us to voice out what we also have put up here. Although we may have similarities on what we are going to say, but each of us are from different areas and we have our different problems that we can allude. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable member. I saw one more tag before we move on. Yes, honorable member for Bakau.
Thank you very much for giving me the floor again. What I want to talk about is in relation to the honorable member for Sabasanjal. Sabasanjal, because when we talk about debate, it means we have different ideas, but it's no longer a debate when we are all talking about the same thing. So I think we should move to a more important topic than this one. Thank you.
Yes, point of observation.
Okay, thank you very much. Honorable members, it seems we are just having back and forth of some against and some for the motion. So now what we do, we are going to vote so that we'll be able to move on.
Madam Speaker,
So that we will be able to move on. Yes?
Madam Speaker, I think we need to observe these things. You know, similar thing happened yesterday, but because at the end it was not on the favor of others, and then we tried to correct it, and it was corrected. So today also, we all wrote our names. In fact, writing our names, it's not in the standing orders. We're just trying to make things easier. Allow everyone to give their deliberation on this submission. In fact, this is not a debate. We are all giving our submissions. It is not a debate. Since yesterday, we have not been on a debate. It is a submission. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable member. And the issue at hand is not about writing the names or not writing the names. The issue at hand is suggested by your fellow honorable members to cease with the topic at hand so that we'll be able to move on with the business of the day. I may repeat, this is not from the table of the speaker. This was suggested by your honorable fellow honorable members. And if we are having the honorable members on diverse decisions about this, then what we can do as a house is to vote on the decision. That's why I call on a vote.
Point of order, please.
Yes, honorable member.
Madam Speaker, if you can look at the situation at hand currently, majority of the people who are saying that we continue with the other business have spoken already. And then if you are to vote on it, meaning the majority is already given. So meaning those who don't speak have no voice in this issue. Thank you.
May I suggest we continue with the voting? Thank you very much. Those in favor to have this motion continue, can we please raise our hand? And clerk, can you please help me in the counting? Those who are in favor of having this session, this motion continued, can we please have your hands up? Clerk, please help
Can
me
you come
with
again,
recording.
please?
Please keep your tags until your vote is recorded.
Please your tag up so that you can see.
Can we please maintain order where records are collected? Those against the decision for this session, for this motion to be continued, please raise your tags and hold it up until your vote is recorded. Thank you. Thank you very much, honorable members. You might have our tags down. Those against the motion of us continuing with this, those against the suggestion of us continuing with this motion supersedes. Therefore, honorable members.
Point of order, before you pass it in, please.
Yes, honorable member for Jimara.
I would like you to clarify here. As per this voting, are we considering a two-third majority or a simple majority? And if yes, basically, if we are to go in two-third or simple majority, can we state it to this August body? Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable member.
Honorable Speaker,
Honorable Speaker.
But someone is on.
Yes, honorable member for honorable
Madam,
will respond to your concern shortly. Honorable member for Brefuni Berefet.
Yes, I want to respond to Honorable Member for Jimara's question, which is whether it is a two-third or a simple majority. When you look at section 15, which talks about voting, subsection 1, it says, every decision of the House shall be taken by a simple majority of those voting unless otherwise specified for. So meaning we are going by simple majority. Thank you.
Madam Speaker.
Yes, honorable member, before I move on.
Madam Speaker, I was trying to go through the standing order, but I didn't see any portion that says a member of the assembly could move a motion to close. Where it quotes is the closure of debate after thorough debate. And this one, I don't believe we have thorough debate because still parliamentarians are willing to submit their submission. So, thank you.
Honorable member, may you rise and repeat because I think I lost what you said.
Okay, thank you, madam. What I'm saying is that I've gone through the standing order, but I didn't see where it says that a parliamentarian could suggest to close a debate when still now parliamentarians are interested to debate in the motion. Where it is stated here under standing order 27, closure of debate. After thorough debate, the speaker may call upon the mover to reply some of the concern before putting the question to the House. So people are still debating and we are not exhausted the topic. I believe so. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable member. I just want to clarify. There was a decision on the floor to decide on submitted by honorable members whether to continue or to stop and continue on other businesses of the House, and that was a decision. And in every decision of this House is to be voted for or against by members of this House, and that is the procedure that we just did. And according to the voting, like the honorable member for Fonyi Berefet just have just alluded to, it is simple majority, and we have 20 of the honorable members that wants this motion to continue, and 27 that wants this motion to discontinue. Therefore, the ones that voted for this motion to discontinue supersedes. Honorable members, may I now call on the mover of the motion to respond to some of the concerns raised and wind up the debate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Madam Speaker. Okay, it has been a very fruitful engagement from all the divide of this House, and parliamentarians have contributed immensely, and also they've come up with certain recommendations on how we can control the abuse of substance and also illicit drugs. Some parliamentarians spoke about mental health issues and gave reference on how actually the Tanka, as we call them, mental and health hospital, have reported the issues of more cases of mental health issues related to drug abuse, and which is actually an issue, a point of concern. And it will also be captured in our recommendations to after our sessions. Also, they also spoke about the use of illicit drugs and sales by youths of this country. So if you see drugs coming into this country, it's because they have come through either by the land or by the actually through our ports. So, and those ports are the responsibility of the government to control. So we still have to go back to the government to make sure that they do more of controlling than allowing illicit substance come into this country and destroy our youth. And also parliamentarians spoke about the local tabar and how it goes towards affecting the sexual and reproductive health
of people living in this country, and also they call for a ban, a control and an eminent ban on this local substance. And also some parliamentarians spoke about this safal. Ordinarily, safal used to be a very ordinary word, and it was marred with clapping and dancing, but it has turned into something else, which actually is a point of concern, and it's good that it is brought to these chambers and argued. And also the parliamentarians also called for counseling centers to be erected or established in many parts of this country, so that our youths, because they say that some of the youths with small counseling, you can bring them back to the proper lane. And also even those that are already into it, with little counseling, they can be able to understand that this is dangerous, is bad, and also leads to them derailing from their future aspirations. So also, and we cannot go through all, but finally, the parliamentarian says call for gainful skills and employment. If we have to fight against all these illicit substances, and with regards to our youths using them, we also have to understand that the parliamentarians here have come up with a resolution and a recommendation that let the government intensify their efforts on making sure that the youth of this country are involved into gainful employments and skills, so that they might not have time to be wasting in the streets and using substances. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. I now put the question. It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable Assembly do accept the resolutions on illicit drugs and substance abuse among young people in the Gambia. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Clerk, we may please proceed.
Motion. It has been, be it resolved that this August Parliament do consider and adopt the resolution passed by the regional parliaments on the prevalence of sexual and gender-based violence in the Gambia by Honorable Nominated Representative for Persons Living with Disability, Honorable Anchasar.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to move the motion, the prevalence of sexual and gender-based violence in the Gambia. Okay. So, gender-based violence, according to the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, defined it to be any act perpetrated on a person, against his will, based on gender norms and unequal power relationships. So when we talk about gender-based violence, the word gender itself has made it specific. It has to do with both the males and female. But to put to our notice, gender-based violence, it is more prevalent in women than men. Statistics by GBOS has actually shown that we have about 75% of our girls between the age of 15 to 19 years who have undergone FGM. And again, we have about 44% of them who believe that FGM is an act that is right and it should be promoted. Again, we have 61% of our girls between the age of 18 and 19 who believe that it is right for a husband to beat his wife. With all this I've mentioned, we can see there are forms of gender-based violence. And with the percentages I've mentioned, they are high. And it is we youths who actually believe, okay, those things are right, according to the statistics. With that, we can see how prevalent sexual and gender-based violence are in the Gambia. Again, for rape, there is no fixed statistics, yes, but like from the TRRC that in 2019, We've got to see that rape is something that has been happening and it is still happening. It could be from state officials, our community, relatives at home. They could all be responsible for, doing this act to us. Okay, so gender-based violence, sexual and gender-based violence, reasons why I believe it is prevalent in the Gambia. One of the things we really believe in the Gambia is the culture of silence. People hardly talk. Stuff like issues of gender-based violence are happening every day in our homes, workplaces and all. But because people don't report it, things are not done to actually solve it. We have a lot of laws and acts that are actually here to fight against gender-based violence. We have the Women's Act, the Children's Act. When it comes to the Constitution, Section 27, 21, and 29, they're all here, based on facts that are against sexual and gender-based violence. But because we don't report these issues, it keeps on increasing and increasing. So the prevalence keeps on increasing. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable nominated member. Any honorable member to second it? Yes, honorable member for Nyamina East.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I hereby second the motion, the prevalence of gender-based violence in the Gambia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I now put the question. It has been moved and seconded that this August Parliament do consider the resolution passed by the regional parliaments on the prevalence of sexual and gender-based violence in the Gambia.
Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. May we now open the floor for debate.
Honorable Speaker, point of observation, please.
Sorry, just a moment. Thank you very much, honorable members. Before I take any point of orders or observation, I now put the question. It has been moved and seconded that this August Parliament do consider the resolutions passed by the regional parliaments on the prevalence of sexual and gender-based violence in the Gambia. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, at this juncture, I will now open the floor for debates. Any honorable member who want to contribute on the debate can do so by raising their tags for their names to be written down.
Point of observation, Honorable Speaker, please.
Yes, honorable member for Combo South.
Yes, the interruption is purposely made to find an opportunity for all of us to feel the presence and the purpose that we are here. It's unfortunate that when clerks were taking names, they centered more in this other end. But in case that is not the right protocol, why not you at your own discretion, then you look at it, who to be speaking. And if possible, you take it any direction rather than blaming the clerks of denying us from our constitutional right.
Thank you very much, honorable member for Combo South. That is noted. Honorable members, can you please, honorable members that want to contribute to the debate, can you please raise your clerk and can you please raise your tags, and clerk, can you please help in recording the names?
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Yes, honorable member for Ilyasa.
Okay. Adjustment to what he have said. Let privilege be given to those who didn't have chance to submit their submissions on the first motion.
Thank you very much, honorable member. Noted. Honorable, those who wants to participate, can you please raise your hand, and the clerks will take records of your tax. If you raise your tax, please hold it up until your name is recorded. Thank you. If you want to participate in the debate, raise your tag until your name is recorded, please. Yes, Honorable, can we meanwhile have the Honorable Member for Combo South to give his submission?
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity.
Meanwhile, please raise your tax. Meanwhile, please raise your tax. Thank you very much.
The issue is very important. And
Honorable Speaker, I think I have to interrupt you.
Honorable Member, can you please note?
I have a point of observation that anytime we want to start a debate, it's always the left side. Why not we shift it to the right side and see the people
Honorable
around?
Member, your tax are being raised if you want to participate in the debate. Meanwhile, the clerks are taking the names. Just to save time, I am taking some of the honorable members to give their submissions while the clerks collect the names so that we save on time and have more time so that all of us will have time to give our submissions to resolve.
Honorable Speaker, I want to doubt your neutrality in this because every time it always start from the left.
Thank you very much.
Honorable Speaker, I am totally in support of that.
Hello.
The House cannot be biased. We cannot be one-sided. It also has to come towards the other side. So please, for us not to question your neutrality, we would urge that you also consider starting from our side. Please, with all due respect.
Noted, Honorable Member, can you please assume your seats for conversation?
Thank you once again for the fact that fellow parliamentarians are not very much pleased the way things are moving. I believe I will close down my submission and then allow others to have enjoyment from the thing.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Combo South. Can we have Honorable Member nominated Kama?
West Coast, not Kama. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The topic at hand is very important and very relevant, and advocacy has been done. We have some honorable parliamentarians here that can bear me witness on some of the advocacies that has been done, the meeting with stakeholders to address the issue of gender-based violence, but still, we have not seen anything. So, Honorable Speaker, with your permission, I would like to give reference to the Women's Act of 2010, giving provisions of the United Nations Convention on the elimination of all forms of discrimination against women and the protocol to the African Charter on the rights and people's on the rights of women in Africa. Honorable Speaker, when it comes to the issue of gender-based violence in this country, it is very disappointing to know that the women and the girl child in this country is not being prioritized. I will take an example of me being the former speaker of the Children's National Assembly of the Gambia, where issues of children has been discussed using the Children's Act of 2005, and we've given a call to action to the the then Ministry of Women, Children and Social Welfare, and now the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, to call on government and stakeholders to work on that call to action. Yet still, actions has not been taken. And this is, I am talking about 2 years back, something that has been done, and it was given on this very ground to the ministry to work on it, and it has not been prioritized. Honorable Speaker, the government of the Gambia has taken so many commitments on behalf of children and women. And I guess, or I believe, if commitments are to be taken, they should be commitments that you can fulfill. You don't take commitments to be commitments. This is what I think as a girl child. And also, I have paid, my mother is a woman, and we have every other woman outside there whose rights have been violated who have been daily been abused, and nothing is been done. Honorable Speaker, when it comes to the girl child aspect of it, because we are talking about gender-based violence, which includes both the girl child and a woman or the women aspect of it. This particular country has ratified the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child in 1990 and has taken commitment on the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child. Now, to what extent has the government of this country gone in protection of the rights and welfare of this, of the children of this country or of the women of this country? To what extent has they gone? There are hotlines to be called in case if there is any violation on the rights. But how effective is that hotline? How effective is it? And another thing is, you call stakeholders to a particular gathering. They come, you write your resolutions, give them recommendations, have so many hopes. They load you with speeches. We're going to work with we are going to work on this. The ministry is going to do this. The ministry is going to... What is the budget allocation for women and girls in this country? What is the budget allocation for women and girls in this country? At schools, maybe in the combos, but in the provincial Gambia, only few schools have sanitary pads. Come to look at it. If you take a commitment that all forms of violence, physical, economical, suffering, whatsoever, blah, blah, blah. All these are things that you have committed to. People listen to them. But how far have you gone into fulfilling your commitments? How far have you gone? We have so many beautiful laws. I mean, the Gambia is so much good at making laws, very beautiful ones on paper. You read them, you are excited. How well have they implemented the laws that have been made? Honorable Speaker, you walk to the shelter in Bakote, where you have so many girls and women who had undergone sexual, gender-based violence. Some of them have undergone rape. In fact, there was a time, if the SINAC members that have graduated from SINAC could be a me witness.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. May I now call on the Honorable Member for Fonye Binta.
Good afternoon, Honorable Speaker. Thank you for giving me the privilege to allude on this topic area. Gender-based violence, as the motion reads, prevalence of gender-based violence in the Gambia. Gender-based violence have been issued in the Gambia for quite a long time. But my area will go into the area of the aspect of the types of gender-based violence, and then how are they involved, especially in the area of education and the workforce. Gender-based violence, if you look at it, is it could be put into physical violence. When you say physical violence, that is having the physical assault on the female folk or the people who are not having much power, okay? Imprinting power on them. You are physically harassing them, or that power is... you have also have verbal violence. That could be saying hate speaks, or harassment words that you know that on ladies or females, that will retard them from participating on events that you know that is their lawful act or activity that they should be involved in directly. That is retarding them also in their performance or showing out what they can do in the area of education. Coming to the workforce area, if you go to many of the offices, you will see that in most cases, gender-based violence are prominent in most of the workforces. Let's say if a female, a girl child want to go in for in a workplace, apply for a position, before he or she is accepted in some of the places, the authorities who are there may be requesting something in kind from them. Okay? That is retarding some of them to even submit their application into some of the offices. So this is an issue that you know that is burning and is alarming. We need to have our young people empowered so that they can be involved into the workforces, and also the selection of or identification of people to work with should not be based on the issue of you have to give me this, I give you that. Okay? So let's support our female folk in the aspect of their participation in other events. So social and economic violence. In most cases, if you look at it, there are some economical ventures that we know that women are sidelined, especially in the area of skills. In most cases, in the skill works like carpentry, mechanic, and the like, even if female want to venture into it, our culture, or even our socially, they will be discouraged simply because they will take the way that these are areas that are main ventures. So it is something that is discouraging, and then that area of empowerment should also be ventured in. I don't have much on this area, so I would like to put it up here. The previous submission is where I prepared more, and I could not have that privilege to talk up. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. May I now call on the Honorable Member for Jokado.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to speak on the motion about the prevalence of gender-based violence in the Gambia. One of the reasons of this gender-based violence is poverty. Many of these kids, you see many kids which are exposed to this, to be street vendors because of poverty, because of their parents have no option in order to venture into selling. And the only thing they will do is to send their children to the street to sell for them. If you go around the streets, you see so many young girls going around with plates, selling water, and all is due to poverty. People have been emphasizing on these children being turned to street vendors, but they have not given any reason or anything which their parents will hold on in order to stop them from being street vendors. If you are telling somebody to stop something, you must give that individual something to hold on. Because these parents are left with no options, it's only to send their children, as street vendors, as they don't have enough money or enough wealth in order to put something in their ends meal or something to take care of their family, to give basic needs to their families.
Yes, Honorable Member for Latrikunda Sabiji.
I believe the Honorable Member speaking is deviating from the motion. The motion is sexual and gender-based violence and not child labor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Member for Latrikunda Sabiji. Honorable Member for Jokado, you might want to
Thank you so much. I'm just starting the introductory part but I will come to the gender-based violence. Because when these children are exposed to these streets, so many men will take that as an advantage. They will take that as an advantage, give these children money, and which will expose them to gender-based violence, where their rights will be violated. Because if you want to, you tell your child to go and sell, and she saw somebody who will give her enough money to take to home for you, to give to you, as you were the time she was going, you told her that when you are coming, I need you to bring along this amount of money. Once she sees that opportunity, she will go for it. This is the advantage so many men are taking on children. And the only solution to this is to give these parents opportunities, or give them grants, to open businesses where they will have their ends means in order to stop them from exposing their children as street vendors. Honorable Speaker, allow me to refer on a survey which was carried in Malawi in 2030, which reveals that 61% of women and girls said they have experienced sexual violence and 64 has experienced physical violence ongoing on food crisis. So many of their parents, they expose them to this gender-based violence in order to get means for their families. Because some of them will give them to men whom they don't like or whom they don't love while they are going to schools in order to get a huge amount of dowry to put something on their tables. So these are reasons which have led to gender-based violence. Thank you so much. I will raise my case.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. May I now call on Honorable Member for Tumanna?
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. I thought you have already forgot about me. It's long overdue.
Honorable Member for Tumanna, you might want to address the speaker properly.
All right. Sorry, thank you, Honorable Speaker. It's long overdue, though. Okay. If you talk about gender-based violence, it is something that you know that it is affecting the whole country. It is not only in one constituency. If we talk about it, we are talking about all the youths of this country. Gender-based violence, we are the people that supposed to stood up and change our attitudes towards it. The only way we can strengthen it is by implementing our policies. Because we cannot just be there saying that, organizing programs for it, sensitizing people, doing all sorts of things whilst it is not being implemented, or people are not going to follow it. So people will see to it that it is something that you know that these people are not serious with it. We are here today in the house talking about it. People have been on it, not only today, ever since. But we must change our attitude towards it. That's the only way forward for this country. I will rest my case here. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Tumanna. May I now call on Honorable Member for Olyundum constituency?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Gender-based violence is really still affecting young women along the Gambia. Gender-based violence is prevalent in schools, on streets, in our workplaces, and even homes. Families, even our uncles at home would sexually harass women. Our brothers would sexually harass women, and then if this thing happens, at family level, we want to badiyak a child, and as the saying goes, the Maslaha syndrome. Gender-based violence has been neglected. Most of its cases has been neglected in this country. Gender-based violence tend to be neglected or normalized in our society. The fact that we forget that even by word of mouth, you could utter a sexually harassing statement. By randomly torturing people also, you can sexually harass people. When I say by word of mouth, you as a woman, or we as young women, we pass boys camping around. You hear them start stereotyping you. It is sexual harassment. They will say all sort of words to you, even though we won't talk, because of the stigma leveled on us. At society level, if you are a victim of gender-based violence, you want to talk, lum solon, that is what they would say. Lum solon mogata, why was she there? Those are things that have leveled that stigma within us that we are not speaking, but the gender-based violence that is happening in this country is beyond control. And also, in our workplaces, we have even our colleagues, not only bosses, even our colleagues will randomly touch you and say derogatory words to you that you yourself wouldn't want to hear, or you would not want to address it because of the stigma I said that is happening within our society. Somebody would just come and touch you. It is something that should be addressed. But because I think when I go out and want to talk about it, people would start saying, Linga solon mota mudefko. Or why were you there? It is my right to be wherever I want to be. You don't dictate that. So, but the stigma that society is putting into this, I think the society should be sensitized when it comes to gender-based violence, and that orientation should be made that gender-based violence is not tolerated and is not acceptable in our society. We as young women, we need to stand on our grounds, and then no matter what stigma leveled on gender-based violence, we should come out and talk. Because it is only in the Gambia where your husband would beat you up. When you take him or her to the police, they will say, look at your children. Settle is a dummy. Well, your husband have not said to your dorms that you as a young woman are told to set up. But you want me as a mom to look at those children. Of course, I should look at those children because they're my children. I should look at, but you as their father should also look at those children. You should not be sending that. It is a mistake that you have a boy child. If you beat your wife in front of that boy child, what are you trying to tell him? You're telling him that it is okay to beat your wife. Those are children that we tend to educate from that level, from the family level. So we should not do those kind of things within our society. Families should also look at it. The fact that, okay, this happened, and then we're going to take this matter to the court or the police, to the authorities. We want to talk about it at family level. We don't even want people to know. You impregnated a child in your house as you are the person's uncle. We will talk about it in the home. The person's education has been tampered on. The person's, you've already tarnished the person's life as a young woman. Looking at if the Honorable Speaker would permit me to reference on the rape case that happened back in the years, was 2020. If you would permit me, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, but just please refrain from quoting from cases that are in court.
Okay. There is this.
The time is up. Thank you very much, Honorable. May I now call on the Honorable nominated member for LRR. Honorable nominated member for LRR.
Okay, sorry, Madam Speaker. I think that was for the first motion, and then my points were said, so I haven't raised my tag for this other motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. May I now call on the Honorable Member for Upanyomi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor. I want to base my submission on this topic at hand, which is the prevalence of gender-based violence in the Gambia. I want to base my submission on the patriarchal setup of the society and also impunity. I believe most of the problems that we are encountering is because of impunity. Impunity is well alive in this country. People are not punished. You commit a crime, 2-3 days, the matter go to the police, go to the court, you are free, you go. People continue committing crime. And the policies that are set up, the laws that are set up to protect our young women are not being implemented. Because of, if it talks about the issue of a girl or a woman being harassed by an individual who is working in an office, because of you apply a job or you need something from that office, that person will request something from you. I believe that should not be the case. That should not happen. If at all, that is an institutions, or we have institutions that are functional, that are pragmatic. But the bad side of it our institutions are consumed by individuals. You go to institutions, you see one person who assumes to be bigger than the institution. And if a woman comes there or go there for application, the person will request for something. Either you do that or you will not have the job. We have seen it in our higher institutions where women have to do something to have marks. That's very clear. This is happening because there is no punishment. People are not punished. But if the perpetrators are really punished on violating the rights of women and violating the right of men, I think this problem would have been in the book for long ago. But the punishment is lacking. People are not punished. People just do whatever they like to do. And 2 or 3 days, they will be scot-free. So I believe the issue of impunity should be looked at. The issue of these policies that we have to protect our women need to be implemented. We should, forget about, having what we call the red letter of policies. Some of the policies, they are just there, but they are implemented. People are in office, they assume as those offices belong to them. And those offices are public offices. Everybody has the right to work in this office, as far as you have the qualification or you have the merit to work there. But you see an individual, a director or a manager of a particular institution, which is not a private institution, but a public institution. You will come, you will work in that institution based on his desire. And the person will demand something from you. Ask a woman, if you fail to do that, then you will not have the job. And that's wrong. That narrative should change because we are the youth. Either today or tomorrow, we are going to be in certain positions. We have to live by examples. Let us not take advantage of people based on the position that we hold. Don't take advantage of students if you are a teacher. Don't take advantage of your workers if you are a manager or head in an institution. Is wrong. Another point is the patriarchal setup of our society. I think we'll understand the patriarchal setup of our society, gives more advantage to men than women. We're not saying that is correct. For example, the denial of resource opportunity. As I am talking today to you right now, Action Aid the Gambian, they are on a caravan talking to the people about women, land ownership. It happened in my village where this young lady got married, went to a village, got divorced, came back, could not be in peace with the sister-in-law. That's the elder brother's wife. The elder brother had to take her out from that compound, from their compound. And because of our land tenure system, that lady could not have a land where to stay with her children. One of the uncles had to accommodate her. I believe those issues need to be revisited. We need to revisit our land tenure system. We need to revisit some of the policies that we have so that we can, because we cannot just protect the right of women based on rhetorics, based on pronouncement. We need to be serious with this. Because of the policy guide us how we operate. The policy guide the modus operandi, how we operate as a country, how we work as a country. If these policies are not responding to the needs of the people, desire of the
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. May I now call on the Honorable Nominated Member from the Federation of Persons with Disability.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I think when I stand up, I think everybody knows basically the dimension I want to speak about. For persons or women with disability, women and young girls with disability, sexual and gender-based violence is compounded by disability-based discrimination. That is, countless young other, visually impaired or people living with disability, most importantly, young girls and women are facing, are victims of gender-based violence. Firstly, if we look at the programs that are designed to discuss issues related to gender-based violence, you look at it at the pre-planning stages of some of these programs that are designed, women and young girls with disability are not mostly involved. So for this reason, the designers or the implementers of such programs will only involve them at the implementation process. That is, they will not know basically what their problems are and how to find solutions to deal with these problems. In case, you can only see them during workshops, all right, that they will only serve as beneficiaries. But just to inform this August gathering that women and young girls with disability don't only want to be beneficiaries of projects in this nation, but they also want to be benefactors. They also want to give out or to take part in every, aspect of national development in this country. The other point is access to information and means of communication. It's one of the major challenges that affects the contribution of women and young girls with disability in every aspect of this development in this country. Just look at the policy documents that are drafted or laws that are enacted in this country. How many visually impaired young girl or woman can able to read from a written document that is not embossed in braille? How many of them can able to get an access? How many of them can know, okay, look, if somebody, violated my rights, these are the right authorities to communicate to. These are the right individuals I need to talk to. Some of those mechanisms are not even put in place. I know it is part of the school's curriculums, right? They talk about, reproductive health issues. But just look at this. Most of these discussions, women and young girls with disability are not involved. We don't put them into discussions like this because first we think about how to get to those venues. Okay, the classical example could be the National Assembly chamber. Do you think this place is accessible for a woman who is nominated to be a representative of a particular constituency in this country? You think it's accessible for a wheelchair user? It is not at all. So these are some of the major challenges. These are some of the major challenges women and young girls with disability in this country continue to face. All right, and also reproductive health, because we know health, it's fundamental, it's imperative. Everybody wants.
Point of observation, Honorable.
Yes, Honorable Member for Fonyi Berefe.
Yes, we are using National Assembly facilities, so things that are accessible. When we say things, they are not accessible. Probably next time we might not be able to have the chambers. What I want to say is, those with wheelchairs, it is very accessible for them because we have lifter, and then also they are also help. And also, when you could remember the last 5 years, we have a nominated member who is also in the same category, although not using a wheelchair, but that person also assisted. The person is, should I say, blind or visually impaired. So they have been represented. So the National Assembly is also working towards empowering them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Member,
Just to make clarifications on that, Honorable, I don't know the consequence that you basically representing because I cannot read from the text, but we do respect. We cannot prove to this August Garden that those lifters that we are talking about are functional. I could remember when the first time the disability bill was tabled in this August, chamber, most of our members from various disability-based organizations in this country could not access this chamber. So I know what I'm talking about. I've been in the advocacy field for people with disability for so long. So I'm not here to blame anyone. This is our collective responsibility.
Honorable Member, you might want to address the speaker and not your fellow Honorable Member.
All right. Sorry about that, Honorable Madam Speaker. But just to continue from what I was trying to put across. So I was talking about the reproductive health, about the health sector. We know most of women and young girls with disability, are victims of sexual and gender-based violence. But sometimes, you check our health sectors. Across the country, there is no, disability service unit in any of our clinics or hospitals in this country. That is, if women and young girls with disability even need health care assistance, there'll be no one there to give them the clear attention that they will need. So this is one of the problems that we have. And also, lack of unemployment is one of the reasons, because if you look at, the disability community, all right, most of or majority of young girls and women in this country are not employed. They're underemployment. They are not employed at all. So the only thing that they can do is to serve as, liability. They can rely on family members. And some people take that for granted, because they know that they are not employed and they deserve to be survived. They want to survive. They want to live in a better life. So sometimes they exploit them through that. because they know that they will not able to get the chance to report this matters. Could you imagine somebody that cannot see? If a visual impaired girl is raped by someone that can see, you know. So how do you expect this particular girl or this particular person to report the matter? The first stage is really, who is this person? Can the person able to identify the perpetrator? That is one of the questions that we always ask. So for me, I want to believe that gender-based violence is not only affecting the sighted peers, but it is also affecting people living with disability, mostly women and young girls with disability. And I also want to make this point very clear. It is very important as young people, when we meet together, to look into matters that are affecting young people with disability in this country. Because you might not born with disability, but along the way in life, you might be one of the family members. You know what I mean, right? So it is always very, very important we look into issues like that. I know it's a diverse area, and most of young people that are into advocacy, or a lot of young people that are into issues affecting young people in this country, we neglect some of these areas. And it should be a concern of everybody. So it is the state's responsibility. It is the state's responsibility to take care of and protect all people living under its jurisdiction, irrespective of their culture, religious, or disability. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable nominated member. May I now call on the Honorable member for Combo East? Yes, Honorable nominated member.
Sorry, Honorable Speaker. If you will allow me to make my contribution on this topic.
Honorable member, I am taking submissions according to the list I have on my table. Are you raising a point of order or a point of observation?
I am not raising a point of order. This tag is said by 3 people. Since yesterday, 3 of us will raise it, but 1 will be recorded. I know it is a mistake. So if you will allow me to contribute, that will be nice. Since yesterday, I was recording, but I couldn't have the chance to make my contributions, please.
Honorable member, you might please resume your seat. Honorable member for Combo East, you might please continue.
Honorable Speaker, may I please submit to you that I can allow her to take my place and then make a contribution, please.
You want to decline and allow her to speak?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much, Honorable member. Honorable nominated member, you might.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. And member of the Honorable from Kiang is, thank you very much for Combo is, sorry. Thank you very much for the cooperation. So I want to make my contribution on this motion, which says that the prevalence of gender-based violence in the Gambia. So it is mostly affecting women and girls in this country. For me, I won't extend my contribution. I want to summarize it and make it short. I want to talk on child marriage and female genital mutilation. When you go to our regional areas like Central River region and other provincial areas, child marriage is common there. You will see a girl child who is going to school. That child will go up to grade 10, 11, up to 12 graduating time. You will see those parents will take that girl child, give it to a man which you know that she don't even love or she don't even want to get married to. That's very sad. And on top of that, giving that girl child to a man which she doesn't want to marry to, without even teaching that child what to do in that marital house. That's very disappointing. And again, to talk about the female genital mutilation, they are really abusing young girls in our region. You will see elderly people, you will gather a group of girls, take them to a lady who has no experience, a lady who is not a nurse, neither a doctor. So those kids, those children, or those girls' will be circumcised by that lady with the use of razor blades and other materials without having any drug or without having any material which you know that can guide those female childs when there is emergency. That's very risky. So I think we should still emphasize on female genital mutilation. in the provincial areas. It is still happening and it will happen. So in that circumstance, that child can die in that process, God knows. Because if that child lose blood in the process, you, that individual who is circumcising the girl, without having no experience, at the provincial areas, we know there are certain hospitals which you know that you have to walk for 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers before you reach the hospital. On top of that also, transportation, what will take you to that hospital also is a question mark. So for example, if a girl child falls under that track, losing blood during the process, what can you do to rescue that girl child? Without having ambulance, without having a near hospital. So I think we need to check on this female genital mutilation and this child marriage, forcing girls' childs to get married unwillingly while they are even going to school. That's very sad. So I think we need to check on that violation against women and girls. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable, may I now call...
Point of observation, Honorable Speaker. May I?
Yes, Honorable nominated.
Thank you very much. I humbly and kindly suggest that the clerk could please come around here because I am not really sure if he wrote my name and we have been waiting but we did not see him. So we are not really sure if he wrote our name. So
Thank
could
you
he
very
please
much,
come?
Honorable Member for KMC. Your point is noted. May I now call on the Honorable Member for Fonyi Berefet. I will take Bulwar. Thank you very much. May I now call on the Honorable Member for Latikunda Sabiji is also out. Honorable Member for Badibu, for Lower Badibu. Honorable Member for Lower Badibu also out. Okay.
Okay. Greetings, Madam Speaker, Honorable Speaker, members of this Assembly. I am hereby submitting under motion which says the the prevalence of gender-based violence in the Gambia. Many people have sent in their submission, but to my own observation, I would say that, it is quite biased. Gender is referring to both sides. It is both the male side and the female side. I am also cognizant to the fact that there is one side that are in the disadvantaged side. I am not blind to that fact.
Point of observation, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Member for Olunium constituency.
I would like to remind Honorable Member for Lower Badibu to address not to address parliamentarians on their submission to be biased.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Olunium. Honorable Member for Lower Badibu, please take note. You can state your point without ridiculing others.
I'm sorry, I withdraw that bias if it is feel offended. Anyway, yeah, so to bring my submission, I will speak in a rational manner that it taking both sides aside and not leaving each of these one away. Because violent, I will talk about them separately. Violence itself on human being is not something that it should be accepted. Moreover, when you take it down to the gender part, when we come to the educational aspect, it is true that the female child is more disadvantaged. And the reason is that our cultural belief, our cultural belief has a greater impact on the gender issues. Then in that side, people believe that female are not to go to school or are not to attend Western education. Where they belong to is at home, and that is the reason why we have more male children in a school than female children. And then if you go further on, we also have a violence in the side of the male. When it comes to in public places, sometimes the way female also dresses affects men, their jobs, and then it also causes another issue that could result into gender-based violence. We are all aware. We are all aware of that, and then sometimes it's not easy. I am not supporting a certain dubious act like for people to be tempted, but we pray that we don't fall under such temptation. But then,
Point of observation, Madam Speaker.
Who is speaking? Yes, Honorable Member for Combo South.
Yeah, I definitely want to align myself with what my honorable parliamentarian from Lower Badibu is saying, for the fact that we should not entertain and accept any form of violence. I want to relate this into a
Honorable
spiritual
Member for
call,
Combo
which
South,
says
the
that
Honorable Member for Lower Badibu is still giving his submissions. So if your observation is agreeing to his submissions, then that means allow Honorable Member for Lower Badibu to continue with his submissions. Thank you.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Member for Woolly West.
Yeah, I think the Honorable Member for Combo South could proceed with his observation on the discretion and the acceptance of the Honorable Member for, is it Lower Badibu? Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Woolly West. Your observation is noted. Honorable Member for Lower Badibu, you might please proceed.
Honorable, thank you very much. Point of order, please.
Point of order, please.
If he accepted me to align myself, I think I should be given that opportunity.
Honorable Member for Combo South, you might please proceed.
Okay, in aligning myself for what he was saying is definitely this is the case for the fact that I putting into consideration the dress code is somehow one of the causes that which is causing gender violence in terms of sexuality. Putting into consideration a verse that is telling us, "Wala tabarrajuna tabarrajul jahilin." We should not dress and go out like the women of unbelievers. So therefore, I want to bring to the submission of this august gathering that as we are even sitting, we have hormones that are activating. As a result of we are hungry, peptide YY hormone is activating the cells that is responsible for have some energy for the food. So therefore, I think the dress code definitely have to be put into consideration. Thank you very much.
Point of
Point
order.
of observation.
Point of observation, Honorable Speaker. Point of observation.
Honorable Member for Lower Badibu, are you accepting the point of observation? Honorable Member for Fonyi Jarol, you might please proceed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I wish to state my disassociation to their comments that the way women or female dress can tempt a man to engage into any form of violence against them. I believe everybody is independent. People have different faiths. I saw the Right Honorable Combo South quoting verses. We have to understand that there has to be religious diversity. People have different things, their thoughts and religious beliefs. People are free to dress anyhow they feel like, and that shouldn't be an excuse, in my own opinion, for any person to claim that that was the reason why I had to engage into these menace that we call gender-based violence. It shouldn't be any excuse from any man, responsible or otherwise. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Point of order. Point of order.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Fonyi Jarol. Yes, Honorable Member for Kiang West. Jara West, sorry.
All right, Honorable Speaker, I want to put a point of order here, telling the Honorable of Combo South that we are not all Muslims.
Member, do you wish to raise a point of order or
Yes.
a point of observation?
Yeah, point of observation.
Honorable Member for Lower Badibu.
I am rejecting that observation.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Lower Badibu, please proceed then.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Member for Combo South, I'll continue where you stop. As we said, the dress code matters. Whether you are a Muslim or not a Muslim, it matters, because in all our institute, we have certain dress code that doesn't warrant someone to seduce others. There is nobody, I don't think in the constitution of the Gambia, or there is a workplace that allows people to dress naked or half naked. So for that being the case, I am without no doubt that females should dress well and male also should dress well. Isn't it? So I would run down like to job opportunities. All of us are citizens of this country. We should all have job opportunities, despite being male or female. But I'm not blind to the fact that we know males are given jobs more than female in certain areas. Like females are discouraged not to partake in technical side. Technical side like, maintenance of motorbike, vehicles and so on. So women should have the right, and then they should be allowed and given the opportunity to take part in diverse aspects based on their interests. Another point, Madam Speaker, that one would run down to a reason what will bring us to the harassment aspect. Most people are not contented, as our honorable member for Jokado stated. If you are not contented, it may lead you to something. You want everything, you end up losing all. Some female will use their self to get job opportunities, to get, finance, or to get another thing. These are also a reason, and in turn they will, say, this is a gender-based violence. But at the initial state, what was the agreement? Who was present? Who knows what happened there? Isn't it? So these are all issues that we need to talk about, leaving no stone unturned. Again, another side, gender mainstreaming, and so that policy, Madam Speaker, if you will allow me to quote from a little note that I wrote.
You might please.
Yeah, gender mainstreaming ensure that policy makers and legislative work is of high quality and has a great relevance to society, because it makes policy respond. There are a lot of policies on gender-based issues. These policies should be made to respond to the needs of people. It should address issues. But we keep on hearing gender-based violence. Someone rapes someone, and someone seduces someone. These issues, there should be a step. I don't think our government or stakeholders are really serious of the matter, because seldomly we heard of someone is being jailed, or someone is being, tortured, or someone is being in prison because of, you violated certain rights or certain policies on the gender-based issues. Madam Speaker, if you will permit me, I would like to continue on the quoting again. There should be gender-based policy to ensure quality of all opportunities between women and men, and then girls and boys, so the development effect have equal impact of all genders. The gender-based opportunity should be wide for both male and female, in an aspect that everybody will be allowed to participate in their various ways and various skills. For instance, if you go to certain aspect, like in a school, in certain subject, like there are technical subject, that is woodwork, home science. I'll take these two subjects. Home science is commonly known for women, and then woodwork is commonly known for men. On that aspect, I think everybody should be allowed to choose any subject. It is not, we have seen men that are caterers, isn't it? We have seen women also the same thing. So, and then we have seen nowadays women are also venturing into this technical side. I saw a woman installing a solar panel. Will you be surprised? One of our parliamentarians here is a motorbike technician. It just came to my notice yesterday. So let us try to expose our ways based on our interests. Don't be limited because you are of this gender. Don't be limited because you are of this gender. And then finally, Madam Speaker, if you will allow me, this is a recommendation to stakeholders, and then.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. May I now call on the Honorable Member for Upper Fuladu West.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, please.
you've been continuously addressing honorable members of the parliament as honorable speaker. You may revisit that.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member, for
Thank you.
for that. I think I am used these days, that's why. Thank you very much for the reminder. May I now call on the Honorable Member for Upper Fuladu West.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor to give my submission on the prevalence of gender-based violence in the Gambia. Honorable Speaker, when we talk about gender-based violence, sexual and gender-based violence, it is a broad term and it calls for concern because most of the people who are victims of this are women. As said by the other parliamentarian for Lower Badibu, the parliamentarian for Lower Badibu, sexual and gender-based violence, both men, when you talk about gender-based violence, it is both men and women. But 90 or 95% of cases of sexual and gender-based violence victims are ladies. They are women and not men. Because most of the time, women are more vulnerable than men when it comes to sexual and gender-based violence. Honorable Speaker, when you talk about sexual and gender-based violence, rape is one example of sexual and gender-based violence. We have child marriage and also FGM. Madam Speaker, when you come to the area of rape, rape is very rampant nowadays. Just few days ago, I saw a post on one social media page on Facebook about a man, a perpetrator, who is sentenced to 25 years in jail just because he raped a young lady who is it 18 years of age. And my comment was, the man should not even be subjected to 25 years because that was small. 25 years is small for a perpetrator. 25 years is small for perpetrators of rape. Because when you rape a girl, you spoil her life. You spoil her future. You spoil her dreams. She wouldn't be able to achieve all what she wants to. The girl will be traumatized in the society because she would not receive any respect from her peers and even her community members, even after marriage. Honorable Speaker, because nowadays, people are so much concerned about the issue of virginity. So what about a girl who has been raped? I believe this is the reason why many young women go in for these pills in order to gain virginity, just because they want to get respect. Honorable Speaker, we have lot of issues of rapes that has been going on, but people are so mute about it just because of the so-called Maslaha syndrome. And most of the time, the people who suffered from this rape, most of the perpetrators are the victims' family members or close associates. It is very difficult to have a young girl being raped outside, though it is happening. But most of rape cases are done by the perpetrators' close associates. Honorable Speaker, the other issue of gender-based violence example of gender-based violence is child marriage. Madam Speaker, child marriage is also very common nowadays in our societies, especially in my region, that's CRR. Young girls are not even allowed to complete their education. You will have girls who go up to grade 10 or 11, and they will be dropped out from school forcefully in order to get married. This often affect their lives and livelihood. Honorable Speaker, the girls' right to education and decision-making is often violated, and nothing is often done about it. Honorable Speaker, the other thing we have is female genital mutilation or cutting. Honorable Speaker, with your permission, I would like to make reference to the multiple indicator survey, cluster survey 2018.
Please proceed.
Thank you. According to the Gambia multiple indicators cluster survey, MIX 2018, 75% of girls between the age of age of 15 to 19 have undergone FGM, that's female genital mutilation. And most of the time, the type of female genital mutilation our young girls are subjected to is the worst type of female genital mutilation. They cut the clitoris, the labia majora, and the labia minora. How do you expect that girl to live in the society? And most of the time, if the girl...
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. May I now call on the women-nominated member for KMC.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. My words almost forced themselves out. Okay, I would like to talk about the discrimination because I believe most of the areas have been spoken about. Recently, the Education Plus was launched, where a lot of CSOs met, civil organizations, and the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Education. All these people met and spoke about sexual and gender-based violence, and also the inculcation of the subject where teachers will talk about sexual and gender-based violence and also the non-discrimination in schools. But yet, we still see in schools students, especially female students, are still discriminated, especially when they are on their menses. Most of the female that we ask will say, according to research, that I cannot go to school, especially if I'm on my menses, because I will be discriminated. Some of them, when they see these things in schools, they don't have sanitary pads to actually help themselves with, which is very disheartening. I don't know, after the luncheon, I don't know still what has been done. Coming back to the psychological trauma that women go through, most times, as a woman, you would grow up, be educated, have a job, and then get married. What happens after this? Your husband will tell you that you're supposed to be a housewife and you are not supposed to go to work. This causes psychological trauma towards women because most of them will be tempted to leave their jobs. That is, if they value their marriage. Most of them will have to leave their marriage. And when they go back to the society, what will they tell them? That they don't value their marriage, one. Two, they are the cause of the failure of their marriage, which will cause them to have psychological trauma. And Honorable Speaker, permit me to also state out that I have experience in my community at Latrikunda, where a 17-year-old boy raped a 9-year-old girl. This particular child was not dressed in any immodest way, but yet he was raped. You cannot call that because she was not dressed in a modest way. And after this girl, until today, she is still psychologically affected. Sometimes the parents, before we would understand that it was actually a rape case, we thought, the society thought that it was spiritual things that were happening to the child, because when she was raped, she did not speak about it. She is 9 years old. She did not speak about it. The only thing she was doing was crying and then saying that whenever a guy, even her father, came close, she would shout. So people were thinking it was spiritual until later, when they took her to the hospital, they realized that she was raped. But fortunately, the guy was taken to a juvenile prison. So, Honorable Speaker, the reason why I'm bringing out this is because most times women are mostly affected when it comes to sexual and gender-based violence. But notwithstanding, let's not also forget the males. Because whether we like it or not, and we know it or not, they are also violated. Their rights are also violated. We have seen in situations where a woman will rape a man and come out in the open and say the man raped her. We have seen that situation too. We have also seen in situations where men would be not scared, but maybe because of what society will say, they would not come out to talk about the violations that has been happening. Because when they do, their fellow men would tell them, Itaketo, I mean, how can a woman do this to you? And you're more powerful. What happened?
Thank you very much, Honorable Nominated Member for KMC. Honorable members, at this juncture, I would like to evoke Section 13(1) of the Standing Order and adjourn this session for 10 minutes, and we will be back by 5:32. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, honorable members. We might please resume our seats. Honorable members, we might please. Honorable members, House resume session. We might please continue with the submissions of the motion that is still on the table. May I call on the honorable member for Banjul South?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as a concerned and patriotic Gambian, working to protect women and children from all forms of sexual and gender-based violence, as well as sexual abuse and exploitation, we need to develop safeguarding policies for workers in every institution and beneficiaries. This includes a child protection policy, anti-sexual harassment in all workplaces, as well as sexual abuse and exploitation. Madam Speaker, with your permission, I would like to make reference.
Please proceed.
2021 verified data from one-stop centers and other service sites. Types or forms of violence, number of cases and their percentages. Sexual violence. Number of cases were 157, percentage 36. Physical violence. 41 number of cases, 91%, 9% rather. Psychological or emotional violence. Number of cases were 105. The percentage was 24%. Economic violence. Number of cases were 121, percentage 28%. Harmful traditional practices. Number of cases were 13, percentage 3. Total number of cases were 437, which is 100%. Honorable Speaker, the statistic I have just mentioned shows the number and percentage of cases reported in 7 one-stop centers in the Gambia in 2021. Powered by the Network Against Gender-Based Violence, showing the prevalence rate of the acts and the numerous number reported cases.
Sorry for interrupting, honorable member for Banjul South. Honorable members of the House, may I please remind all of us that usage of mobile phones in the House is not allowed. Please. Thank you very much. You might please continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And the numerous number rated cases due to culture of silence, or should I call it Maslaha syndrome. Madam Speaker, the solutions to these problems are: we need to engage in a national campaign to break the silence and ensure an effective national response to sexual violence in the Gambia. We need to ensure the government commits, as well as other stakeholders, commitments to ensuring appropriate and necessary actions are taken on alleged. Madam Speaker, sexual violence cases in an expeditious manner to avoid delay and withdrawal of cases, to protect women and children from sexual-based violence occurring in public or private sectors by building the capacity of service providers and institutions, raising public awareness. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable member. May I now, honorable member for Banjul South, may I now call on the honorable member for Sabah Sanja.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. I give the chance to others. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Sabasanja. May I now call on the Honorable Member for Sani Mentor constituency.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Yeah, the motion on the table for discussion is a very important one. What makes it very, very important is because it is an intractable problem. What do I mean by that? It is a problem that is very difficult to solve. Why is it difficult to solve? It is difficult to solve because most of the cases of gender-based violence goes unreported. But before I enter the discussion proper, I want to take a paradigm shift with regards to this discussion. Listen to previous speakers here. The focus is on victims, which I understand, but we have different phases of victims too. I want to look at what we call re-victimization, because cases of gender-based violence suffered victimhood twice. The first is the perpetrator that inflict them pain and that heinous human rights violation. It could be in a form of rape, it could be in a form of battering, it could even be verbal by using derogatory words on a girl child or a woman, or even engaging in intimate conversations that are not consented. So care must be taken, and we have to pay attention. What do I call re-victimization? You become a victim twice. First by the perpetrator, then second by the society. That helpless woman who was raped, or that girl child who was raped. Helpless, she could not defend herself. Instead of reintegrating her into the society, what do we say? It's your fault because of what you were. You are not at the right place at the right time. All these things are factors. So when you look at that trauma, the victim is suffering twice. First by the perpetrator, then second by who? The society. You will not be married. Everybody will try to desist from bringing you to your family because they will say it is a sin that this is known publicly that so-and-so is raped and now the person is my wife. Even to get married is a problem. That is what I call re-victimization. You suffered victimhood twice. Second, I will go back to the controversial issue of dress code. And I want to be listening to very carefully. I am not saying I support it. I am not in any way saying that I support the excuse that what you wear is the reason why you are raped. I am not supporting it in any way. But we cannot also contest the fact that it is one of the causes of gender-based violence, whether we agree or not. That is the hard fact. Because researches are being made, and they came to the conclusion that yes, dress code is a factor for gender-based violence, or is one of the causes of gender-based violence. I also agree, or I am cognizant of the fact that, all right, your right as a woman can be violated, even when you dress modestly. But let us take some steps back. Before 1945, even the Europeans were not dressing this way. How did they come to dress this way? How did we reach here? It was the American influence when they conquered the world in 1945.
Point of observation, Madam Speaker. Yara East.
Honorable for Sani Mentrang, there is point of observation.
Yes, I accept the point of observation.
Okay, Honorable Member for Jara East.
Yes, the Honorable Member did say researches are made and it was concluded or found out that dress code is part of the reasons for gender-based violence. In order not to mislead this House, or in order for members not to go out with the mind that yes, there were researches conducted, we would want the Honorable Member to direct us to any particular research for reference purposes on where dress code was cited as one of the reasons for the perpetration of
gender-based violence. Thank you.
Much honorable member for Sani Mentrang, you might please clear those points.
Yes, thank you, honorable colleague, for directing my concentration to that. Okay, there was a research made in 2020 by Muzaffar. Muzaffar is a scholar in one of the universities in India with the university students, and he came to the conclusion that, together with the university students, that dress code is a contributing factor to gender-based violence. Yes, I was on the history of the World War and how some of these dress codes that we have today came about. Even Europe was not dressing this way. They were not dressing this way. How did it come about? It is through America, through their soft power to sell their culture and their influence around the world. When they conquer Europe, at some point, when you are conquered, what do you have to do? You have no choice but to agree to the conqueror. That is how it came to Africa here. But even in Africa here, we have our own values, we have our own cultures. Okay, when we are to copy the best of models. So I am not supporting the fact that, yes, a girl child should be raped because of the dress code, but what I'm saying is it is part of the contributing factors, and we cannot dispute that because that is the fact. And also how we are built up. To corroborate this dress code again, how we are built up. Men are different from women. When we see things that are enticing to the eyes, sometimes we are moved. That is just nature. And again, let me reiterate this. I am not saying...
Point of observation, Madam Speaker.
I am accepting the point of observation.
Honorable member for Combo
Yeah, I just want to align myself in relation to take this honorable gathering to animal physiology, talking about the issue. You look at human brain, this particular part of our brain, that is hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is the one responsible for the production of sex hormones in men, and that is the luteinizing hormones. And these luteinizing hormones, whenever a sexual orientation starts in man, you set an eye on something that is captivative, this hormone will trigger. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, honorable member for Combo South. Honorable member for Sani Mentrang, you might please proceed.
Yes, honorable speaker, as I was saying, when we are to copy, we must copy the best of models. Still with regard to the issue of this dress code, some will degenerate it to the question of choice, freedom. But freedom should be progressive. It should be progressive. That is what I believe. If you, the girl child, know that where I am going is dominated by the boys, and in fact the area is isolated or secluded, you very well know that the way you dress might be a factor as to how and why you will be harassed. So that is the hard fact. We cannot just sweep it under the carpet. Having said that, all right, I am going to rest my case here with the quotation of Ban Ki-moon. There is one universal accepted truth to all countries, cultures, and communities, that violence against women should never be accepted, never be tolerated, and never be condoned. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable member for Sani Mentrang. May I now call on the honorable nominated member from Banjo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I stand to say no to sexual and gender-based violence. First and foremost, what is sexual and gender-based violence? Sexual and gender-based violence is any form of violence against human, particularly women, and it can also happen to men equally. Honorable Speaker, there are root causes. Mostly there are reasons of sexual and gender-based violence. But in my perspective, it is due to harmful social norms and also lack of economic resources, which generally makes women particularly to fall vulnerable to violence. Honorable Speaker, sexual and gender-based violence has impacts psychologically and physically on victims. These consequences are deviating and can have long-lasting repercussions on victims. It can even lead to death. Honorable Speaker, there are different acts, including the Constitution, which states and addresses the issue of sexual and gender-based violence. Honorable Speaker, with your permission, I would like to make references on these acts and the Constitution.
Please, you might go ahead.
Section 6 of the Women's Act in 2010 stated that every woman shall be protected against any form of violence, either in private or in public. It has also stated that every form of violence against women should be prohibited. 2. Section 20 of the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, adopted in 1996 and amended in 2004, stated that no person shall be held in slavery or servitude, and also no person shall be required to perform any form of forced labor. Honorable Speaker, the Sexual Offences Act in 2013 also criminalizes every form of sexual assault, exploitation, and harassment on any person in this country. Honorable Speaker, despite all these problems, why are both men and women still suffering from sexual and gender-based violence? Most especially women. I'm not being gender biased. We all know that. Women are most likely to fall as a victim on sexual and gender-based violence. So, on that note, Honorable Speaker, despite all these laws, is it that they are not properly implemented, or cases has not been reported? Honorable Speaker, I urge all Gambians, both men and women, to eradicate sexual and gender-based violence, to stand firm, join hands, and work together, keep fighting for keep fighting against sexual and gender-based violence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nominated Member for Banjul. May I now call on the Honorable Member for Kantora. Honorable Member for Kantora. Yes, Honorable Member for Fonyi Brefet.
Okay.
There is a point of order or observation. Let me take that, please.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I wish to move a motion taking these reasons. First, Kotowato Tamital. Second, Nintara Sang Janin Kontoni Simatama Sudiata battle. The other issue is we have people that are also having these small health complicated issues. Also in Fenko. So don't be a concord, don't be a Yamion in Fenko, don't be a senior. So I wish to put this motion for this August Assembly to agree for the sitting to be adjourned. Thank you. This is my motion.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Hello. Just to inform whatever decision the House is going to take, on the list of names I'm having, we're having just 7 more submissions. So I will take Honorable Member for Jara East.
Honorable Speaker, I think there is a need for honorable members to be consistent when they address this House. Few minutes ago, it was the same honorable member that moved a motion that the debate should be extended. We had honorable members submit here that no, but then we are seated here because of a very motion that he moved. But moving forward, we would want to encourage honorable members to be consistent and be aware that some of the decisions that you take might impact on others. Honorable member.
Thank you very much. Any more submission? Honorable Member for Sanimentary.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Member for Jara East. I wanted to say the same thing. My hand was up for the same thing. You have to be consistent. The motion, the reason why we are here was because of the motion that you moved, and it was supported. You can't come again and go against the same motion that you pilot. That is unacceptable. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Fonyi Brevet.
Sorry, please, let's try to understand this. Situations are moved by issues. So you see, so please, we need to understand. Sometimes, this is
Honorable Member for Fonyi Brevet, you might please want to address the Speaker.
Very good. Thank you, Madam Speaker. You see, Madam Speaker, sometimes as situations unfold, when there are other issues, we bring it. It is not a cause or it is not abnormal for you to say this. And at the next meeting, when other situations come in, you say this or that. Who said I shouldn't have said it?
Point of observation, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Woolly West.
Yes, Madam Speaker. I wish to say that I personally reject the motion. I wish the sitting could continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Jimara.
Yeah, Madam Speaker, just as my colleague did mention, actually,
Thank you.
I still want to maintain that we continue with this. And in fact, when adjournments are made, it is a priority for us to conquer it before why do we have to adjourn it and then another adjournment actually? Technically, if we move a motion to adjourn it, then it's incumbent upon the House to complete the order of the business before we leave. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Jimara. Honorable Member for Basse.
Honorable Speaker, kindly continue with the proceedings. Please, Honorable Member for Fonyi Jarol, you have passed the motion and we accept it. So let's move.
Thank you very much for Honorable Member for Basse. Honorable Member for Sani Mentereng, I hope you are not replying to submissions. You may have the floor.
Point of observation, Honorable Speaker. Well, yes, exactly that is what I want.
Then you might please resume your seat.
Yes, the Honorable of Fonyi Jarol said that circumstances.
You might please address the Speaker.
Honorable Speaker.
Please address the Speaker.
Honorable Speaker. The Honorable Member of Fonyi Berefet said.
Can we have the House in order?
Honorable Speaker.
Can we have the House in order? Someone is on the floor, Honorable Speaker for Honorable Member for Fonyi Jarol.
No, I am actually rushing because of what they are referring to wrongly, and you cannot just allow that without restricting it.
Honorable Speaker, I am rising already.
Okay, thank you very much. According to the submissions we have, those who agree for this session to continue are more than those who suggest for this session to be adjourned. So we are continuing with the sessions, and I am going to continue receiving submissions. We might please resume our seats. Thank you very
Honorable
much.
Speaker, I wish to submit that the two honorable members who wrongfully mentioned my name as the mover of a wrong motion stand on their ground right now off the record so they can apologize to my humble constituency.
Honorable members of the House, I hope you have taken note of that.
Rule on that, Honorable Speaker, please, with all due respect.
Sorry, Honorable Member for Fonyi Jarol, what exactly is your point of observation?
My observation is simple. The Right Honorable Member for Fonyi Berefet and Honorable Member for, how do you call him again? Honorable Member for Sani Mentereng, wrongly, and also Basse, wrongly, refer to my constituency as the mover, which is completely wrong. For the records, please.
Thank you very much, honorable members. The a point of observation from the honorable member for Fonyi Jarol is when the honorable member for Basse and the honorable member were for Sani Mentoring were making their submission, instead of referring to the honorable member for Fonyi Berefet, they referred to the honorable member for Fonyi Jarol. May I please ask the honorable member for the honorable member for Basse and the honorable member for Sani Mentoring either withdraw their statements or apologize, and we move on.
Yes, Honorable Speaker. I want to put it before the Honorable Member of Fonyi Jarol that
Honorable member for Sani Mentoring, you have referred to his constituency instead of the constituency you were supposed to refer to.
No, but there was no full stop.
Honorable member, either withdraw the statement or you apologize to the fellow honorable member.
What I'm saying is,
honorable member, I am not receiving any other submission from you apart from apology.
What I'm saying is, I called his constituency, but before I complete what I was about to say, they told me no, it's the honorable of Fonyi Berefet, so I owe him no apology.
So, honorable member, it is you that mentioned it. So either withdraw or apologize, and we move on. Honorable member,
Point of order.
Honorable member for Sani Mentoring.
Okay, I withdraw with condition for debate to continue.
Thank you very much. Honorable member for Basse, please, can you apologize or withdraw the statement and we continue with this?
Honorable Speaker, I withdraw my statement.
Thank you very much. We might continue with the session now. I call on the honorable member for Lower Nyomi to give her submission before, and then to honorable member for Lower Nyomi.
Sorry, Honorable Speaker, but I didn't raise my attack.
Thank you very much. That was an oversight. Honorable member for Bundung Kakunda.
Okay, Honorable Speaker, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak again. Firstly, I would like to talk about the shelter in Backwater. We believe that most of our sisters and brothers were abused and taken to the shelter. And we were told that the shelter is under the government. And what is the government doing for that shelter? In 2018, around September, the SNAG members, which is Student National Assembly, went to the shelter, but it was not encouraging at all. I cannot be abused and be a victim, and then finally they take me to that shelter, and still the same thing is happening there. One of the victims mentioned that sometimes they get abuses by the people in the shelter. So is that helping? Obviously, it's not. And the other thing is, most of our honorable members.
Yes, honorable member for Bakau.
Okay, thank you very much. I am very confused about the shelter. I don't know what the shelter is. So can she specify what?
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much.
Could the honorable member for Bakau state whether he is rising on a point of order or observation? Thank you.
Yes, honorable speaker for Bakau, please.
I am rising under the point of observation.
Okay, honorable member for Bundung Kakunda, are you permitting that observation?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We continue.
Okay, the shelter is a shelter for children and women who have been abused in our community. My other point is, most of the honorable members were saying that dress code, our dress code matters when it comes to rape. I said a big no to that. Our dress code doesn't matter. And one of them quote, "What innamal a'malu binniyat? Actions are judged by intention." I put on the clothes I feel like it's okay, and that doesn't give any man to rape me. I can repeat that. You understand? We all have our choice of
honorable member, can you please address the speaker?
Madam Speaker, Fogna Kuneka, I'm also choice of dressing, right? Kuneka, you decide what to put on and what not to put on. And that doesn't give any man the right to come and rape me. Obviously, we have our sisters that put on short clothes in our own houses. And their brothers are there. They don't rape them because they are their sisters. Because they are their younger sisters. So that the same thing should be appear outside the
honorable member for Saner Mentoring.
Point of observation.
Okay. Honorable member for Bundung, are you accepting the point of observation?
I don't accept.
Thank you very much. Honorable member for Saner Mentoring.
speak Wolof.
Point of observation, Honorable Speaker, if the Honorable Member for Bundung will allow me.
Honorable Member for Bundung?
I will accept it later. Not
Thank you very much.
Okay. Foog naa ñu ñëpp am nañ ay raka suñ kër yi ñoo xamante ne most of them put on short clothes suñ nekkee si biir kër bi, right? But we don't rape them because we see them as our sisters. Suñ nekkee si biti, the men should do the same thing, Honorable Speaker. Ku nekk soo ko xoolee as your sister, doo ko xoolee nga rape ko noonu. The men should help the ladies, but not blaming them all the time. The one who look at is not okay. Even if there are 1,000 men or 1,000 boys in this house, whatever I want to put on, I will put it on and come and do whatever I want to do. That doesn't give the right for you to rape me or abuse me in any way. Honorable Speaker, I would like to take the observation from the nominated member.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member from Bundung Kakunda. And yes, someone said, Honorable Speaker, someone said our dressing has changed.
Honorable Speaker,
I'm raising the point of observation.
I reject it because the floor has been given to me. This one said I should speak on.
Honorable Speaker, I'm writing on a point of order.
Yes, please.
The issue is, let her address, let the honorable member address her concerns to the speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable nominated member for West Coast Region, please address the speaker. And honorable member for Kantora, what happened is the honorable nominated member raised a point of observation and then was granted by the honorable member for Bundung Kakunda, who was on the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Now I am talking to you. Someone or an honorable said our dressing has changed, relating it to history, the Western culture and civilization that came here, and now girls are wearing on whatever they want, blah, 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 blah. If that is the case, then you are still, that the same westernization you're talking about, that the same
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
You are still...
Honorable Speaker.
Yes, honorable member for Fonyi Berefet.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, you see when you rise up for a point of observation, when you rise up for a point of observation, that it's either you want the person speaking to explain something to you or for clarification, but you cannot stand up for a point of observation and you start deliberating. Thank you.
Equally give comments.
Yeah,
the person provide
Honorable member for nominated member for Brikama South, please address the speaker.
That is what I was doing.
Point of order, please.
Honorable.
Point of observation.
Honorable member for Jimara.
Yeah, could you kindly talk to the honorable member to withdraw the word blah blah. Honorable member speaks blah blah. That is not fit for public consumption.
Thank you very much, honorable member for Jimara, honorable nominated member for Brikama. Can you please do your submissions as per the topic of the honorable
Point of observation, Honorable Speaker.
I am on a point of observation and another one is...
Okay, point of observation. There are points of observation. Are you taking?
I am not.
No, it's not for you, it's for the speaker because you already been speaking.
Okay, is it a point of order or a point of observation?
Observation.
It is the honorable member for West Coast Region that is on the floor. You might
Point of order, Honorable Speaker. Point of order. Please.
Honorable member for Latrikuna Saviji. Please, we might want to have consistency because we are raising point of order and point of observation at the same time. Can we please have you?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. So, while addressing the nominated member for West Coast, you mentioned Brikama. Please specify. It's West Coast, not Brikama.
Thank you very much. It's honorable member for nominated member for West Coast Region.
Point of order.
Yes, honorable member for Sani Mentere.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I want to put it before you that when the honorable nominated member...
Honorable member for Sani Mentere, you cannot put...
Okay, when the honorable member of the nominated member of West Coast Region was addressing this August gathering, okay, while someone was on a point of observation, she was not taking her seat. That is out of order.
Thank you very much, honorable member for Sani Mentere. That is noted. Honorable member, next time you might want to take your seat. Please proceed.
Honorable Speaker, thank you so much.
Still on point of order, if you permit me, actually.
Honorable member.
I did raise a concern, and then I'm waiting on you to pass your judgment on that. That is the blah blah. It's the public consumption.
Yes.
Gathering.
Thank you very much. It is noted. Honorable member,
Speaker,
honorable nominated member for West Coast Region, you might please want to speak the language that the House understands.
Good.
Thank you. You might please proceed.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. People would make a mention or an honorable made mention that dressing has changed, then, you know, because the Western culture and whatsoever, I mean, because he related it to history. So if you looked at it, if that was the aspect...
Point of
he was
observation, Madam Speaker.
You're taking the point of observation?
I am not.
Point of order.
Honorable members, let us be consistent.
No, point of order.
I am speaking. Let us be consistent with our point of orders and our point of observation, because we cannot be raising point of observation and when it's rejected, it automatically turns to point of order. Please.
Okay, point of order.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable member for Fonyi Berefet, you might come.
Yes, when you look at the standing order, section 26, honorable nominated member, you might want to take your seat. I'm on point of order.
Honorable member, please have your seat.
You might also want to switch off your mic.
You might please continue.
Okay. When you look at the standing order, section 26, which talks about the permissible interruption, subsection B, that one is talking about when someone writes on a point of observation. It says to explain on a point of clarification some matter raised by another member in the course of his or her speech, provided that the member speaking is willing to give way and resume his or her seat. So you will understand that this clause didn't provide it for honorable nominated member to continue deliberating, unless if someone provided a clause that supported the move. Thank you.
Honorable member, I will read the clause again. The clause is not an independent clause. It states, permissible interruptions. 1. No member except the speaker shall interrupt another member except to explain on a point of clarification some matter raised by another member in the course of his or her speech, provided that the member speaking is willing to give way or resume his or her seat. So what is happening, the honorable nominated member for West Coast Region is having point of clarification on the points raised by the honorable member for Bundung Kakunda. We might please proceed.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. I think that is loud and clear if he or she is willing to give her say. So, like I was saying, if wearing short clothes is one of the reasons why, or it's a contributing factor as to why someone is being abused, or someone is being raped, or someone's right is inflicted on, then can we please note that it is part of human rights that you have the right to freedom. So, and the same reason why we are here is because of that, the same human rights. Because what we are advocating for, we believe that it is not in the right direction, and then our human rights are not, or our rights as citizens are not considered well. So where do you put then the rights of these people that have freedom? And you are talking about the same human rights. And we should all know where your right ends is where someone's right begins. And your right has limitations. So one should be able to know your limitations. And if you want to bring in Western culture as to how girls or how ladies dress, remember that the same Western culture you are still living under, that the same civilization you are still living under, because whatsoever language the English you are speaking here is not yours. If that is the case, then let us go back to our cultural norms and values. Speak your own language. Dress the way we used to. Let the training and the structures of governance change, because that was not our way of civilization.
Honorable member, you might want to stick to the topic. Thank you very much. Honorable member for Bundung Kakunda, you were on the floor.
Yeah,
Or are you
yes,
done?
like, yeah.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable Member for Sani Mentere.
Point of observation.
Yes, Honorable Member for Sani Mentere.
I would go back to the issue of dress code in relation to their submissions. In relation to their submissions.
Honorable Member for Sani Mentere, points of observations can only be valid while the member is still on his or her seat. May I now call on the Honorable Member for Busumbala.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. In the Gambia, we have an epidemic of men beating, harassing, raping, and assaulting women. I think it's high time you come up with a better excuse than dress code. We have seen babies being raped. We have raped in the Arabic nations, and the women dress better. So coming up with the issue of this is not our culture. What are you trying to promote as well is not our culture?
Please address the speaker, Honorable
okay.
Member.
Okay.
Are you accepting the point?
No, I am not.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Busumbala. You might please continue.
Moving on from that, the NGOs have done a great in the fight against gender-based violence. But as a society and the government need to do more and can do more. In addressing a problem, we need to name the problem what it is. So gender-based violence, it's a very cool name, but we should name it what it is. It is simply male violence against women.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Member for Jimara.
My understanding of gender is that it represents both.
Honorable Member for Jimara, Honorable Member for Busumbala, what do you raise?
I am coming if you will allow me.
What do you raise? Point of
Deviating. I am on point of order for the fact that she's deviating.
Okay.
My understanding of gender is that
Honorable Member, that is not a procedural matter. What you're talking about is point of observation.
I come on point of order when a member is deviating a topic.
Point of order is only acceptable when it is procedural matter.
And the member is deviating a topic.
Honorable Member, this is not a procedural matter.
Honorable Speaker, I indulge your indulgence to go through the standing order. It clearly stated that once a member is deviating a topic, the member can rise on a point of order to raise it to the Honorable Speaker concern. This is my
Honorable Member, your concern is a point of observation, not a point of order. This is not a...
I am coming on the point of order for the fact that she is deviating.
Honorable Member, your point of order is rejected. Can you please continue, Honorable Member for Busumba?
Point of order, please.
Honorable Member for Wuli.
Honorable Speaker, if a member of the Parliament is rising on a point of order, as the Speaker of the House, you should grant the person the opportunity to make a comment. And then looking at Standing Order 17, which reads, any member deviating from these standing orders may be immediately called to order by the Speaker. And it continues. So he rose on a point of order, as he said. So I believe you should allow him to make a comment. So in the comment, if you realize that it is a point of observation, then you can call him to order and reject it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Wuli West, and this is a procedural matter. Honorable Member for Busumbala, you might please continue.
Honorable Speaker, point of order. Point of order.
Yes, Honorable Member for Jimara.
This, your recent decision is not in line with the standing order. I want to bring it to,
If you are referring to the standing order, we would like to quote where exactly in the standing order, please. Please read.
Any member deviating from these standing orders may be immediately called to order by the Speaker or any other member rising on a point of order. And it is with this thing that I rise on a point of order.
Thank you very much, and she is not deviating the standing orders.
Honorable Speaker, nothing of gender, it applies to both sex, that is the male and the female.
You want a point to explain, then that is a point of observation, not a point of order. She is not deviating the standing orders. Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Busumbala, you might continue.
Thank you, Honorable Madam Speaker. I am not deviating from the topic. I choose to focus on
Honorable
men
Member,
violence
please address the
against
Speaker.
women. Thank you. I know when there are discussions about gender-based violence, men would also jump in, like, we are also victims, we have been abused. But women have been on the receiving side since, women have been on the receiving end. It is important to talk about what matters and what is important. Often when we talk about rape and gender-based violence, we tend to talk about everything else and not the rape itself. Like they said, what was she cheated on? What was she doing there? The conversation that we have on gender-based violence and rape affect what the decisions that victim takes when they're being abused. I have a case with one victim that was hit mercilessly by the husband. But when I asked her to go to the hospital, and she said, if I go to the hospital, they would arrest my husband. And what would people say? So whether do we know it or not, the conversations that we have on this topic is important, because it's also affect on how our children think of things on gender-based violence and factors affecting women. Rape and gender-based violence are hideous crimes against women. So when we talk about gender-based violence, we shouldn't be understanding, and there shouldn't be any maslaha. For me, it's not about public speaking, it's not about debating, but these are issues that are taking or threatening the lives of women in our society. Our justice system has a role to play, because justice denied is justice delayed for the victim. A victim of gender-based violence needs to go through the healing process. Sorry, I get emotional when I talk about this. A victim of gender-based violence needs to go through healing process. So healing only begins when you have justice. So the justice system needs to give gender-based violence cases what it needs. The police, the healthcare workers has a role to play. Because when we have women that goes to the hospital when they are being raped or when the female genital mutilation has been done at the house, these nurses are the same people that goes to the house to give them treatment. And when they know there is a law that bans FGM. Religious leaders also has a role to play. We were in a world that men only listen to men. So as men, you have a role to play in the fight against FGM. Imam also has a role to play, because Islam, Christianity are all against gender-based violence. But they do very little when it comes to addressing these issues. I believe if they often talk about these, then we'll have less of these cases. The government and the NGOs also have a role to play. There is an urgency. The prevalence of gender-based violence in the Gambia is becoming worrying. There is a need to take a step now, and there is a need to create more awareness. We are not looking for perfection, but we need progress. In a nation, we want a nation where the girl child will be free from rape, FGM, or any forms of violence. Other members talked about women being abused when they're looking for jobs. In the Gambia, unfortunately, the higher you go, the fewer women you have. So this can only be addressed because the gift of intelligence, of education, is not gender specific. So the government should give women opportunities. So I believe when we have women in higher positions, then we'll have less of these cases. I rest my case.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Busumbala. May we now have Honorable Member for Joswan.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
Honorable Speaker, the House is composed of very important parliamentarians, and then in order to ensure things flow better, one of the honorable member addressed us as blah blah, and connotatively from grammar, blah blah doesn't represent well. So please, somebody raise a point of order for her to withdraw, but yet still it seems to be we forgot about that. That blah blah, I think, has to be observed. In connection to the standing order 20, discipline and suspension of members. If you come to the C part of it, section C is talking about uses unacceptable language which he or she refused to withdraw. So please, that blah blah, please let's observe that. This sitting people here are very much, honorable here are very much important to be addressed as our alteration to be addressed as blah blah.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. It was Honorable Member for Jimara that raised that point of order and asked the Speaker to do a ruling. And I asked the Honorable nominated member for West Coast region to refrain from such languages. And that was the order from the Speaker. So that issue has been resolved. Thank you very much. May we now have the Honorable Member for Joshua.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to speak again. So one thing we should understand is that we are not being gender biased here. So the issue of supporting men or women in this issue is something that is very wrong. The thing that we should consider is the fact, Honorable Speaker. That is the dress code, Honorable Speaker. The way I dress does not give any man the right to sexually assault me. The place that I go to does not give any man the right to sexually assault me or rape me, and the hour that I go out does not give any man to sexually assault or rape me. Honorable Speaker, so is it that it should be normal that if someone dresses indecently and then a man is unable to control his hormones and is unable to lower his gaze, then that gender-based violence is not violence? And I would like to ask a question to the Honorable Member of Sani Mentoring, if you will permit me.
Honorable Member, you might want to address the Speaker and also focus on your submission. Thank you.
Okay. So, notwithstanding...
Honorable Member for Sani Mentoring.
Accepted.
All right. Thank you so very much again for giving me the floor. Regarding this issue of dress code, care must be taken when we are countering. When I was standing here on my feet, defending this point, I did not at any point in time say that it gives the perpetrators the right to violate the rights of women. But I said it is a contributing factor. That was my submission. No, I'm not going, Honorable Speaker, please, allow me. Allow me to complete. And the historical background that I tried to give is a historical fact. It's a historical fact. You cannot repeat it.
Honorable Member for Sani Mentoring, can you please resume your seat, because the historical fact that we were talking about was not addressed by the Honorable Member on the ground. Honorable Member for Joshua, you might please continue.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. So, with it being a factor of rape, meaning you're not, Honorable Speaker, he's normalizing the fact that dress code is, if dress code is one of the factors of rape, then it is very normal. Like if we go to law, so the woman should be charged for the kind of clothes that the woman is wearing. Honorable Speaker, these are one of the factors that is putting trauma on victims of rape. You're pointing fingers on...
Is all that point of observation?
Point of observation. Yeah, I have point of observation.
Are you accepting point of observations?
No, I don't accept.
You might please proceed.
Honorable Speaker, so you're putting trauma on the victims because of the clothes that they were wearing or the places that they were. This is something that is wrong. Society is doing a wrong thing here. Dress code does not matter. It is my clothes. It is
Honorable
my body.
Member for Bakau, what are you raising for?
Point of observation.
I reject it, Honorable Speaker.
Might please go.
Yes. So it is my body. It is my clothes. So nobody has to tell me the way I should dress, and it does not give any man to rape me. If you are unable to control your hormones, that is your problem. Lower your gaze. Lower your gaze.
Tarakunda West.
Point of observation.
I accept. Okay.
Honorable Speaker, we are talking about rape here. There are child that are raped with the age of 9. Are we talking about dress code here? When girl child who is at the age of 9 is raped?
Point of observation, Honorable.
I'm 9 years. So therefore, if you want to put this mentality within us, like, maybe continue raping. It's something that we need to stop. Every day you were seeing like your sister or your mom putting on, like, towel, for example. Do you ask your mom for that? No. So do not specify that the fact that
Honorable, you might want to address the speaker when you're speaking.
The fact that men are focusing on this dress.
Are those points of observations or point of
Point
order?
of observation. Observation. Point of
Again,
observation.
Accepted. Honorable Member for Bakau, you might proceed.
Okay, thank you very much for accepting my observation. I want to put it to the House that we have babies that are being raped. When we say rape, it's not just about a man trying to put his genitals into the woman. It's not only about that. I have been lucky to attend a workshop where this baby has been raped and how is the baby raped. A baby that is less than 1 year. The man will be with the baby and the mother of the child, will be, the infant goes to the market and leaves the man with that baby. What the man will do, sorry for saying that, he will take his private part and give it to the baby for the baby to suck it. And that is giving that man a sexual pleasure. And that baby has been consuming, we know when ejaculation happens, what happens to men, the semen comes out. And the sperm comes out. So when the sperm comes out, that baby will be taking that. And there has been something that has been continuing until when the baby's stomach starts to swollen. When the baby's stomach starts to swollen, the baby is taken to the hospital. And that is when it is detected that that man has been giving his private part to the baby. And that is considered as rape. So let us not forget.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Bakau. Honorable Member for Joswang, may you please complete your submission?
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. So, such cases, Honorable Speaker, are those caused because of, are those factors of dress code? Was the baby dressing indecently? Honorable Speaker, this is something that we should really think about. With that, I would like to...
Point of observation.
Point of observation.
Point of observation.
I would like to take the...
Point of order.
If you would allow me, I would like to take the point of observation of...
Honorable Member, did you wrap up your submission?
Yes.
Please have your seat. Thank you very much, Honorable Members. At this juncture, Honorable Members, may I now call on the mover of the motion to respond to some of the concerns raised and wind up the debate.
Sorry.
Honorable
Can I go?
Nominated Member Ancha, you have the floor, please.
Sorry.
Is there a point of order or observation?
Question is already been put forward, so no other issue. Can I continue?
I have already moved. I have already moved for the mover of the motion to wrap up the debate. Honorable Member, you have the floor.
Thank you once more, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Okay, very valid submissions have been made during the course of the debate, wherein, people talked about things they believe to be the causes of the prevalence of sexual and gender-based violence in the Gambia. Things that could have been attributed to, cultural factors. Cultural factors. Poverty could also be another factor. All those things were factors that were attributed to things that could have caused it. And again, recommendations were also given in which people suggested that awareness raising should be increased in order to stop this. Government should also, Honorable, can I refer back to my judgments? Honorable
Yes,
Speaker.
please, Honorable Member.
Okay. So some of the members did mention that the budget allocated for women and girls should be increased because it's not enough to sustain, all the things that the ministry aligned to that could use to prevent the prevalence of gender-based violence in the Gambia. Okay. So I would want to respond to some of the things that the House has mentioned. One that includes people saying that our dress codes could be the reason why we are raped. A baby that is 9 months old has been raped. So I believe no one can tell me that it's because the dress code that that baby was wearing is the reason that baby was raped. And again, you move to India. You see people who wear their saris. Saris, okay, maybe they may not veil their heads, but it covers almost all parts of their body. And in the world, India has one of the highest records of rape cases. So you cannot also tell me again that it's because of the clothes that people wear that they've been raped. Again, someone talked about hormones. Okay. True, some people, their hormones over-secrete, some their hormones under-secrete, and others, the secretion of the hormones is normal. Okay. One whose hormones over-secrete, there are medications that one can use called androgens to control that over-secretion. Again, as human beings, our mindsets guide whatever we do. You see that seeing someone, okay, a woman, in his or her like dress code or not dress code, structurally, has structural made up. If you are to control the way you think, the person can walk forward, back and forth, passing you. You will not even have any little sexual desire for that person. Lower your gaze and control how you think. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable nominated member from the Federations of Persons with Disability. I now put the question. It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable Assembly do adopt resolution on the prevalence of sexual and gender-based violence in the Gambia. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. Thanks, everyone.
Madam Speaker, rising on the point of observation, please.
On that note, I now put the question, be it resolved that this August Parliament do stand adjourned, signed, die. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no.
No.
The ayes have it. This Parliament stands adjourned, signed, die without debate.
Honorable Speaker, your mic.
Deputy Clerk, you might want to be the sergeant, please.
These are important procedures, so please let's be silent and stand.